Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Worlds Collide, Wrestling with Cards, WrestlingTradingCards.com, colliding for another week.
Another week, that's true. Is this our last week?
Well, we don't have it planned, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, sometimes even good wrestlers have to take a break once in a while to come back. And
if the actual worlds collide, then, we won't be on the planet anymore.
This is true. It's very late, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really late. But it's not an after dark episode. So
that's true. So that was a really bizarre one. Anybody who listened to that first After Dark episode, I'm sorry.
Well, there's more to come, so get ready.
Oh man.
So today we're talking about promo cards.
I love promo cards.
I really think this is something that is in wrestling cards more than a lot of other genres of trading cards. I've seen them in sports and non-sports a little bit, but it seems like the more I dig into wrestling, the more promo cards there are. Tony, I know you know a lot about like the backgrounds of a lot of where these things came from and like products they were put in, stuff like that. So before we jump into some of that information, what are promo cards exactly for people who are new to wrestling promo cards?
Promotional material that is used to advertise an upcoming release. And
there you go.
Sometimes it might just be a sell sheet, which is usually like an 8x10 paper, if you want to call it that, that just lets you know what's coming out, all the cool hits you can get out of it. Sometimes in the old days, like Comic Image would put their products out for like No Mercy set or the SmackDown set. You can get an 8x10 on the front showing like the designs and what the cards are going to look like, and the back would have like box order and case order SKU numbers. You can actually order from that if that's, because that stuff was normally sent out to distributors and then brick and mortar stores sometimes. But that's what it was. And you get promo cards to kind of announce and post. You're supposed to give them away to customers to get them excited about upcoming release, but almost everybody held on to them and sold them for a couple bucks or something like that.
Would you consider stuff that's put into product as promo, or do you think that's its own release?
It's an own release. It's more, there's promo cards and then there's promotional material. I think it's a very fine line, but when you have something that's like cards that are inserted in bags of Doritos or stuff that's like, they had like WWF had like Stridex cards, from Stridex products. That's actual release that you had to buy merchandise to get the opportunity to get a exclusive card that came with that. Promotional stuff is just used as like a sales material that would usually have something on the back that would say, coming October, 2021, so like that, the new hard hitting WWF, whatever, that's what it would be. And then you kind of get you excited about the upcoming product and you buy the release. I wouldn't call like Dorito stuff. It's a little bit different. Promotional material stuff is different than actual promo cards. It's just sort of like, here's something we're going to get. It's a card to advertise an upcoming card release. Whereas promotional material is like, I'm buying a merchandise, I'm buying a brand, and as a bonus for buying that brand, I get an exclusive trading card that came out of that brand.
Man, it's once again wrestling cards confusing.
It is totally. And you mentioned that you started off by saying like, you notice it more and more in wrestling. I'd almost have to disagree with you on that.
Really?
Because non-sports as a whole had tons of promo cards. And I can go get a binder right now behind me. It's like that and go through also like when Inkworks was around, everything that they had tons of stuff. They had Buffy the Vampire Slayer, perfect example. Every year Buffy would have either the NSU issue, so non-sport update would have a exclusive promo card in it that you can only get for Buffy release. It would always come out around the same time as Comic-Con San Diego, so they have an exclusive promo card for that. There'd be like a UK version promo card you can only get. There'd be a inkworks.com exclusive internet promo card you can only get, all from the same release. All from the same release. So
Huh.
they have a ton of promo cards announcing all these non-sport stuff. They did it for everything. Rittenhouse did it. Inkworks did it. Topps would do it too. Topps did it with their Star Wars brand. They'd have like P1, P2, P3, P4, and P5. And
It's
P1
almost
would
like they got to the point where it was a set into itself.
it is exactly what
Yeah.
it is. It's set into itself. And it was all the stuff to kind of market and advertise to get you to be interested in buying their upcoming release. Wrestling doesn't has
Yeah.
a lot, but not anywhere near what some of the non-sport stuff did.
And from what you're saying, like I didn't know that about non-sport. You know, I'd seen some in sports cards, but I think that is also more similar to the wrestling side where they'll put out, you know, 1 or 2 cards. Can you think of a wrestling card promo set that has a full set like that?
Promos in a full set, yes. 1991 Championship Marketing has a 12-card promo set.
Yep, you're right. Yep, I wasn't even.
12-card promo
That's
set.
another one I'm not even thinking of.
What else is there? Like more than 2 cards.
Yeah.
I mean, usually Topps would put like a P1 and a P2 kind of thing. 4-card set. Comic Images put out No Mercy had 2 promo cards. SmackDown had 2 promo cards, but Superstars had 4. Had 4 promo cards in that set.
So it's interesting because those cards, like the promo cards, were basically to push the product. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then we've got the ones that I am traditionally thinking of, which is like, you know, the one I just go to all the time is the WCW main event cards, the Tech Chrome, and then I can't remember the other one. There's actually 4, right?
There's promos in that one. There's a Tech
Yeah.
Chrome promo. There's the KKLZ promo.
That's the other one. And then
which
there's
was, and then there's the 2 promos of 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, which has
Right.
Sting and Hogan and Flair.
And those 2 were like promoting the product, whereas the other 2 were promoting.
It was
like,
it's still promoting the product,
events.
like there were giveaways for like events. There were giveaways, but it was to promote the product.
Mhm.
So it wasn't handed out in your normal traditional way that promo cards were usually given out, which is they would go from the company to the distributor to brick and mortar places kind of thing,
Right.
to help entice their customers to want to buy their upcoming product. So those were kind of like, they were promo cards in the sense they were like done for promotional gigs kind of thing, that kind of thing. So those are pretty unique cards, actually. They're pretty tough to come by.
And speaking of that, we've talked a little bit about in the past how a lot of these cards, like on the surface, seem like they're readily available. You know, they were just throwing them at people and you could find them anywhere you wanted. But actually, it's not the case. And a lot of these, even though I use the WCW ones, for example, they say like out of 15,000, out of 20,000, we both know there's not even a fraction of those available right now.
No, and the rumor always was for stuff like that. Like they had like, there's a unique promo card that came out. It was remember WCW put out those pop-up cards? There's 10 cards in a pop. That was a set. But prior to that, that was done by a company called Upfront Sports. And prior to that, they did a WWF one, and there was a Shawn Michaels pop-up card that they did for that. It was done as a promo to see how it did, and it didn't do very well. And so the rumor was that they destroyed most of those. And I remember that when I used to be at Frankenstein Collectibles Show in California, there was a guy who sold a lot of various wrestling things, action figures, DVDs, VHS tapes, lucha masks like that. Bart had a great booth like that, and he had cards there once in a while. That's right. I ended up buying. He had a whole stack of like the Hostess, little sticker cards like that. It's the whole, hundreds. I took them all. Then he had these Shawn Michaels ones, like 50 of them. The Shawn Michaels pop-up cards, took them all. I don't see those very often online, and they were promotional material for it. To test out how people would react to having this cool little pop-up card that you can assemble.
So what do you think on the popularity side from what you've seen within the wrestling card space? Like, are these things that people are seeking out, like, rookie cards or autographs or rare parallel sets or, stuff like that? Like, are you seeing people looking at these like they're looking at like the Carnation set? I mean, it's different, but you know how it's a short set. It's
That's
kind of
actual.
a,
That's an actual card set, but not a
right. It's
promo set.
kind of an oddball release though. So do you think people are
Yeah,
looking at some of these promo cards as kind of chase cards, or do you think they're just kind of swept under the rug currently?
I think they're mostly swept under the rug, like you said, but they're also, you have to understand that promo cards are usually done, they print way more, a lot of those, a
Hmm.
lot of them. I still, it's becoming an ongoing joke now. In my storage unit the other day, I found a box that had a brick of cards in it, and it was all from the WWE. They had a release, I want to say 2007, 2008, maybe around that time. It's called Rivals. There's a card set called Rivals, and I have a few hundred of them. And mixed in there's like some. I probably have like, and I think I have another 100 of the Undertaker's WWF Insider
Oh,
promo card. They print so many of them. They just print so many of them. I don't think there's. You go to that 12 card set from the 91 Championship Marketing.
hmm.
I don't know anybody who has those cards. I don't even know if Chuckster has them. I don't know if Paul has them. I have a set. They're just not. I have not even have. I have no idea how those even distributed originally. I think
So
those
do
are
you think it is like a case by case basis then?
for them being collectible.
Yeah, well, anything's collect, but
Yeah.
like rarity and people seeking them out and stuff like that.
I mean, there's certain ones out there that are pretty rare. I'm actually looking up 99 Art Box. I
Hmm.
think there's another one that people don't realize. There's the Art Box put out 2 lenticular motion type sets. They put out one in 99 and one in 2000. The one in 2000 is the one that most people go for because it has like a Trish Stratus shaking her butt type of motion
Of
card.
course.
There's one of The Rock, motion of him doing like the fingers coming at you kind of thing. Okay, come get some, just bring it. But they put out a set in 99 that featured like a 42 cards, I think it was, where they had like a section devoted to DX, a section devoted to Undertaker, a section devoted to Kane, a section devoted to Stone Cold. They had 2 promo cards that set too that are super hard to come by. I don't think most people even know even exist. I'm trying to figure out who they were. It's like that. They were, I think one was Road Dogg, which is an odd person to have, I
Yeah,
guess, for a promo. Promo cards were Val Venus versus Taka Michinoku. And
random,
the other promo card was Undertaker versus Road Dogg Jesse James.
kind of random still.
Yeah. So it was promos. Promo cards are dated 1998, but they were released in February of 1999. Cards are not numbered. Front images do not scan well and are very dark and blurry. And then I actually have it. I had an image of them on the WTC site, but that's coming later. But I have those. I found them at a hole in the wall little sports card convention in Fullerton, California once, because my buddy and I were going there to meet Conan. And Conan was signing there. Like, oh my God, it's a wrestler, going to be Conan. And just kind of going through, and I found some action pack. I found Lawrence Taylor promo.
Nice.
I found the some action, the oversized 95
Hmm.
action pack of Diesel and Undertaker. And then I go, what are these? There's promos for Artbox? You got to be kidding me. And so I bought them. They were the only ones the guy had.
And have you ever seen any since?
Never seen them since.
Maybe that right there is why promo cards in wrestling aren't as popular, because I think people just don't know they exist.
A lot of times, I mean, the Tops really made their stuff known to exist. So there was a lot of that. When you go to Comic-Con San Diego, they would literally have bricks of those things. They call them brick. And so they were there to promote Wacky and GPK and Lord of the Rings when that was popular when it came out. And then wrestling stuff they had at the time too. So they were putting all of these promos out. And you go on Sunday, the last day of the show, you can learn that they'll start, they don't want to go back with anything. They don't want to ship it all back. So just handing out, here's a brick for you and a brick for you and a brick for you and a brick for you. So how much of that stuff ends up going in, in the trash? Who knows?
Yeah, or what if there's like a huge run on it in popularity and price wise, and then people see that and it's a 97 panini sticker thing all over again, where all of
Yeah.
a sudden somebody found all those bricks in someone's closet.
I have a lot of promo cards for various wrestling sets over the years. I've got a bunch of those WCW 95 main event one of two and two of two. They came in a little cellophane package, just like that for the two of them.
Yeah.
One's Hulk Hogan, one's Ric Flair. And then but I have bunches of those, but you don't find tech chromes. You don't find those.
Yeah.
And those are beautiful cards, man. Those were
Yeah.
only done for like, I think, promoting Bash to the Beach or something like that.
I wonder, actually, now that we say that, I would consider those chrome, and it says tech chrome.
Tech chrome, yeah.
It's a chromium card.
Yes.
It's not as flashy as like modern day chrome, but it's
It
close.
was Card's version of their chrome cards.
Right. And I'm kind of wondering, now that I think about it, that we're talking about it, would that be considered the first ever chromium wrestling card?
I think you're right. I think you might be right.
Like, I just now thought of that.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
And yet
I'm
people
trying to
don't
think of
talk
anything
about
before
it.
that. I think you're right. I can't think of any other card set that came out before that was done in chrome in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the next chrome card for wrestling would be 98.
Yeah.
98 WC. I mean, it made those the wrestler profiles, you know, and then they did again 99 for the pay-per-view events.
And then by that, isn't that when the SmackDown set had some chrome in it?
SmackDown came out just after WCW's second release, I think, because the first SmackDown came out and then they released SmackDown Chromium version,
right?
Which added like 15 new cards or something like that, you know.
Yeah, that Hardy Boys one is in that one. It's really awesome looking card.
Yeah.
So what do you think the importance of promo cards are going to be in the hobby, like long term? I mean, we're still in the infancy of wrestling cards, really, mainstream.
I mean, how many guys out there are like me that has probably has 100 of the WWE Rivals promos and 100 of the, I mean, there's got to be more guys out there sitting on that kind of stuff.
But how many also threw them away?
This is also true. I mean,
they
made promos. They made promos for those Comic Images put out promos for all the releases. They did promos for Superstars, 4-card promos. They did it for SmackDown. I think it's a 2-card, or is that a 4-card? That's a 4-card promo too. And then Chromium, I don't think had any promos. I didn't have promos. Even the WrestleMania Live photo cards had promos. They had 2 oversized promos. Well, they're the same. They're all the same.
I guess I just keep going back to, like, we don't know a market for these, but like the rarity of them, because they made all of them, but how come I'm not ever seeing them? And it may be because people like, you or whoever are just have them. You're not like purposely sitting on them, but you just have them. And
I think as time goes on, you're going to start finding those to become less and less like available. Case in point. I mean, again, go find the championship marking WCW one, those 12 cards. They're tough.
Yeah,
they're tough.
I've never seen them.
And then those came originally in a 12-pack cellophane package.
Weren't those actually also dated differently?
I think they're dated the year before.
1990. Yeah.
1990.
Yeah, because I think one thing I was looking at that on was like, if people really wanted to get picky, isn't there a Brian Pillman in there? You can consider that the first Brian Pillman if it's 1990 to 91.
Sure. What else is that actually out there? Cards did some good ones. Artbox did some good ones. There's even promo cards there's a promo card set that was created by Comic Images for our cards that never got made.
Interesting. Do you have those probably?
I do. Only 6 sets in the world exist.
And you've got them?
8 sets. I'm sorry, 8 sets. I don't know where the other 7 are at. I have 1 complete set. Comic Images sent me one. It was there was an advertisement, and when Comic Images started doing Raw Deal, so in 2000, they did their first rule book. You get the little rule book that came inside your starter deck.
Sure.
You open that rule book from the premiere release. On the very back page, there was an advertisement for the Rock Solid collection, which was a complete trading card set. To this day, the only trading card set that was produced for a wrestler and only a wrestler.
Which is crazy.
I'm a massive, not an indie stuff. But, and then another page was a Comic Images Divas collection card set that never got made because they lost the license to WWE and it went over to Fleer. And then Fleer put out the Ultimate Diva collection. But there was an 8-card promo set that featured Chyna, Trish Stratus, the original Tori, Terry Reynolds, the Cat, and a couple other ones. There's 8 cards in the set. And I had never even with my relationship with Comic Images at the time, which was really strong, no one ever told me about it. I didn't know about it. I found out about it because somebody put out there's a price guide called the Gummy Guide. I think it's called the Gummy Guide.
Oh, yeah, it's rings a bell. Yeah.
It came from a guy in the UK, I think, made it, called the Gummy Guide, and he had a deal with Inkworks, and there were some promo cards put in that. It's funny, he said promo cards. There were promo cards put down when you bought it, and I have it. I have a copy. It's like the non-sport Gummy Guide or something like that. It's called, and it listed this card set from Comic Images called Diva Collection that only 8 sets, blah 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 blah, 8 card set, and I go, I never heard of this before, man. So I call up Comic Images. I call my friend up there, Ron Ferrari, who handled all the editing, and he goes, "Oh yeah, we probably have a set of that laying around. We keep one copy of everything that we've ever made for archiving purposes like that." And I go, "I've never seen this card set before. I've never even heard. Why did you guys never tell me about it?" And it's like, "Oh, I just came and went real quick, and we lost the license." And da da da. He goes, "Listen, you're a big collector, so like that. I'm gonna scan the cards and send you the set we have."
Nice.
And so that's how I got my set.
Awesome. Well, let's jump into, we've actually spoke a little bit about these, and we've got maybe some in here that are questionable and some that maybe legitimately are. But one of the things that I wanted to bring up was the Sting hologram card that most people know about. Now, that's kind of a borderline thing because it was designed as a case hit as an incentive for the LCSs, correct?
It's what we assume. That was the information that I had got when I first discovered those cards and started getting those cards, collecting those cards, because I had opened a lot of packs. I never, the product itself, the wrapper makes no mention of any type of hits whatsoever. I think the wrapper mentions nothing. There's nothing.
I don't remember seeing that on any of those wrappers.
Yeah, so there's nothing on the wrapper. It tells like, hey, randomly inserted, with these kind of cards. So I think it was just naturally assumed that it was a case hit. That was it. But now I'm discovering people are talking about they're pulling them out of packs. Like, I just pulled this out of the pack tonight. Like, really? You pulled it out? You really?
I've never heard of
it. Somebody just tweeted the other day.
Huh.
Someone tweeted that they pulled the hologram card out of a pack.
Interesting.
Okay, so now that changes things, I guess, because one, I have to believe you that you've actually pulled it out of a pack. I don't know who you are. I mean, I can say, hey, I pull a Stone Cold Steve Austin autograph out of the cards, and but I mean, it's hard to authenticate that kind of thing. So I would really love to find a definitive answer on that, to be honest with you. I mean, I pride WTC on being the informational website of the most accurate information, and all these years it's been listed that it's a case hit. But it does say it's believed to be a case hit. It does not saying it absolutely is. I just I'd love to know. Yeah. I never pulled one from a pack, and I've opened probably 10, 15 boxes of that product over my lifetime.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard that either. I've probably opened the equivalence of one box by just getting random packs, here and there when I was a kid, but I've never heard or seen those pulled. So that's interesting. We already talked about championship marketing. We've talked about the Tech Chrome and the Clash of Champions, which is the KKLZ out of one of them's 15,000. What do I have? One of them's 10,000. One of them's 20,000.
Yeah, one 20,000. Yeah.
And
that was out of Vegas. That was for Vegas. That was to promote a pay-per-view that was going on, I think, there at the time. So it was done from a local radio station. That's KKLZ was the call signal for a rock station in Vegas. And so that was used for that. And I'm assuming that they handed out X amount, and whatever's left over, they just trashed it. There's a promotional material from the radio station, and that was it.
So that's an example of, like, I don't think, I could be wrong, been wrong before, but I don't think this is one of those things where a lot of people are sitting on them because, mid 90s kind of an event like this, I just think they probably got trashed.
It's a radio station, like, hey, we're going to promote this wrestling thing, kind of,
yeah, in Las Vegas of all places.
In Las Vegas of all places, but yeah, I don't know.
The two things I like about those WCW cards is because the Tech Chrome, first off, I guess we just unveiled that could be the first wrestling Chrome card. I mean, we don't know that for a fact, but just from talking. And it's got Hogan and Flair on it, and then the other one has Macho Man and Hogan on it. Like, how can you go wrong with those names?
And then the two cards, the cellophane one, the more traditional promo one, the 102 and 22 has Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. Yeah,
and then the other one has Sting.
It's Ric Flair fighting, wrestling Sting, and then the other one's Hulk Hogan.
So the other one that we haven't touched on yet is the 94 action packed, which is just always confusing to me on
Love it.
these. Like, why did, how are these released? I don't even know. Do you know?
It's typical, same way. Distributors, you got a hold of those. That's how it goes from the manufacturer to distributors to brick and mortar places.
So with these, it's I'm assuming these would be like prototype or promo.
Yeah, that was Action
Macho
Pack's way
Man.
of, yeah, Action Pack would put their thing on their backs as prototype. That's how they were done. And that was kind of done kind of common. They did a lot of sports too. I think
Yeah,
I got rid of like a Kobe Bryant prototype promo card one time, like that. I mean, they would write prototype across it. I mean, Fleer did it where they put promotional across the back of one of their promo cards. It was for the Divine Divas, Stacy
So
Keibler promo card.
I guess my question on this one, and maybe you don't know, why would they use? It's interesting. They use the same card. It's like the same card as the one in the base sets, except it just says promo. But then it also is the exact same card that's the on-card autos that are inserted into packs.
It's lazy design. That's what it does. It's all this lazy design. It's
Okay.
actually, it's been done before in other releases too.
I just didn't know if there was something specifically I was missing, but apparently I'm looking too deep into it.
WWE did the same thing for when Topps did their Insider set. They have 2 promo cards. One's Batista, one is Undertaker. Exact same card in the set, base set too.
So it's just like a additional level, like a parallel.
The back is different. The back just says,
okay.
The back doesn't have the bio on it. The back just says, hey, you limited, coming soon, WWE Insider, hardcore, whatever it says in the back, and the difference from the action pack ones where it just says prototype on the back. Otherwise, the exact same card.
And with the more modern releases, I mean, we're pretty much we've got Upper Deck coming out, but really Topps is the only game in town for years now for WWE products. So I've seen stuff in video games and DVDs. I was actually looking at a Hogan card not too long ago that was specifically put into a DVD. It didn't have a number on the back of it.
Yeah.
And it was in one of those little those little plastic wrap things, like you get out.
I just saw the guy tweeted that, by the way. And it did have a number. It was like card number 106, 103. It's exact same card number as the same card from that same set.
Okay.
It's just a promotional material that was made for whatever it was put in.
Interesting.
They did that a lot. It was for the encyclopedia. When you bought the encyclopedia, when it came out, it was an advertisement card, promo card for that. It's the same card number 103 or 106, something like that. I just sent to Chuckster to verify for me not too long ago. And it was done they did that for a lot of publications like that. They even did stuff for they did promo cards for there's a guy on eBay right now trying to sell a Hulk Hogan card for $10,000 from a video game, from a video. It's a promo card.
Which one is it? I don't know if I've seen
1999. There was 5-card set. There's a Luger, a Hogan, a Flair, a Savage, and I think Giant. And they're 1 of 5 through 5 of 5. And I had it here, man. I have it somewhere. If I had it here, I'd show it to you. I have the whole set. And they were only available there was 5 different promos available in 3 or 4 different VHS tapes or DVDs, I think it was. So
okay.
It was no rhyme or reason to which one you got. So it's not like you bought this one, you get all the Hogans, you bought this one, you got all the Flairs. So it's really hard set to put together.
Interesting. Is there any other, we already mentioned Comic-Cons. Is there anything else as far as like modern stuff that you can think of where there's been promos, or maybe some even vintage stuff from the 80s or 90s that we haven't spoke about yet that maybe featured some memorable promo cards?
Promos, they've got it kind of away from the promo stuff like that. Like they've gone away with the sell sheets. Everything became digital. So they started giving digital, booklets, show you all the upcoming releases. Topps been kind of notorious for doing that now since like the mid 2000s, late 2009, 2008, something like that.
Well, and then again, you get on the like fine line of between promo and like, one thing I can think of is one of the WWE 2K games where they cut up one of Ric Flair's robes and put they were limited and numbered, and they're on a card. It's technically a card, but kind of not. And it was in the product. So is it actually a promo if it's included in the product?
It's promotional material. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it is it's not a set. It's a one-off card to promote something. They did the same thing for it was a VHS or DVD. They had I have it for WrestleMania 14. It's a it's a cell to sell inside of the card of Stone
okay.
Cold versus Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania. And it's like, so it's like a cell inside of it on a card, but it's oversized, like about, yay big.
Mhm.
Probably not quite as big as the 95 action pack promo cards, which are really
Oversized.
cool.
Yeah.
Those are so cool.
Yeah.
Love those cards, man. One of my last big factory sealed boxes of WWE Raw deal I bought. I found someone online that sold me like some Revolution 3 boxes and Revolution 2 boxes. And he goes, I have some wrestling cards so I'll throw in for you as well. So like that. And it was like 10 of those Undertaker
Oh,
oversized
nice.
promo cards.
That's awesome.
They're awesome. Those are great cards. I love that. And then,
do you have it? Do you still have those laying around?
yeah, I do. I have both those.
I think you need to save one for when Caleb completes his streak PC. You can
Oh yeah,
you can donate him one to put at the top of the coffin display.
that'd be a cool card. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be an awesome display piece.
That'd be a cool one. It's a really cool piece like that. So it's just an oversized version, like I think they're numbered LL1 and LL2 or something like that. And that's weird because I want to know what those LL stand for.
Yeah, good call. I can't think of anything that it would stand for.
And those, I don't know how those were distributed.
Wrestling cards. We're never going to get to the bottom of all this.
Yeah, well,
it's something new every time, even if it's a set that's 25 years old.
Yeah, and it's just again, trying to being WTC, try to archive all this information, and that's my biggest thrill. That's my biggest thing, is going out and gathering the information. I love being fed the information. I don't retain it all, but
it's hard.
It's hard, but that's what the website's for. So I can go and I use it as reference for everything. Like we're having a conversation right now, and I knew the year and stuff like that. I'm trying to pull it up, the 99 art box set, but I wasn't quite sure who the promos were. I knew Road Dogg was one of them. But it's the whole website. It's just the archive information. So, if someone who listens to this knows where those, action pack promos came from, like the 95 action pack, I'd love to know where that came from. If someone can actually prove to me they pulled a Sting hologram card out of an Impel box like that, I'd love to know.
Yeah. And if
Which,
you
by
guys
the way, we're going to change that name, by the way, just so you know, officially that name has been changed. It's not called the 1991 WCW Impel set. It actually has a name. Someone, on Twitter, someone actually posted an actual commercial for that product. They did a commercial for that product.
I vaguely remember seeing it. Yeah.
It's called the Stomp Collection.
Oh, that's right.
So because the binder says that, but the packaging itself, the wrappers, the boxes that you rip open, doesn't say Stomp Collection. But the binder does.
Oh, that's just going to make me think of those stupid WWF Stomp figures.
Yeah.
The military ones that came out. I was like, I remember seeing those in the store. I'm like, what the heck?
But I haven't noted on my little laundry list of things to update and fix and change and do on WTC that I have to go in and officially change that name. It's not called that. It's officially called the 1991 WCW Stomp Collection by Impel.
Maybe, what happens if we eventually see some of those unearthed of something that does actually say Stomp on it? That'd be fun.
I'd love to see some marketing material on that.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered most of everything there is to cover about promo cards, from understanding them to the rarity of them.
But before we go for a second though, let me throw another little nuance here for you. So about promo stuff. We have promo cards, but then we have the accompanying promo sheets. Do you collect those things? As a collector, I collected them. So like I have a 1991 Classic promo sheet that was given to me from Classic, because back in the 90s, even in the 80s, you could send just a regular letter to the card manufacturer saying, I'm interested in your product. Do you have any promotional material? And I got tons of stuff like that back. I got the 91 Classic that way. I used to get stuff from Topps that way. Bowman stuff. I used to get Upper Deck stuff that way because I was collecting everything. I just didn't matter what it was. I was having to send me everything. But if you send a letter to them back in the day, they would send you usually a couple free promo cards and a promo sheet.
I think those are still definitely something that's collectible, but I think it's a niche thing. So I've seen people collecting that stuff that are major ECW fans or WCW, or like, it seems like it's more of if they're our super collector of a specific promotion, if we're talking about wrestling.
Well, so, I made my binders for Flair. Flair didn't make official binders for any of their products. There's a couple that Topps did, but it's mostly for their European stuff like Insider and then a Raw versus SmackDown, which was done over in the UK. it's called Apocalypse. That was called WWF Apocalypse. So Fleer put out promo sheets for all the releases. Most were two-sided, some were one-sided. So what I used to do is I made my own binders, and I would take the promo sheets with this and put them in the front, and then put the other one in the back, and then I'd make my own spine and it's like that, and have it like. So I had the official promo sheet, and then I'd open the binder up, and I'd have the promo cards. If I had a promo card, I'd put it there, then followed by the base set, and then I put the levels of chase afterwards based on the lowest level chase to the highest level chase.
Right, and that's perfect. Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff. Like, I don't know if I still have it. I don't even know how I got it. I bought it in a collection from somebody, but I had some WCW. It was like from the early 90s. It was promotional material for radio stations. So you could request, it was like you had to like put what you wanted said, the event, what kind of merchandise you needed to help push the show. And so, yeah, it's similar to that. I know it's not wrestling cards, but similar stuff like that I see people collecting, but I think it's a super niche thing. I think there are wrestling card collectors out there who would definitely want those, but I think it'll be just like a hit and miss kind of thing. So if people have them, I definitely say they have value.
Yeah, they do. And another hard one to come by is Fleer did their WrestleMania, when they did the WrestleMania 20 set, to commemorate that set, they have, there's an oversized 8.5 by 11 card. It's not paper, it's of card stock that, and I have one. Remember when they did that, when Fleer did that mail-in for the paper, you had to save your receipt from all the pay-per-views leading up to WrestleMania 20. And you would send in you send it in, and it sent you their set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4, set 5. So they had, you had to collect 8 pay-per-views, or 9, it was 8 pay-per-views. So you had to buy 8 or 9 pay-per-views, send in a copy of your bill that you bought it, and then Fleer would send you a pack of like 4 or 5 cards in it, 4 cards in it, I think it was 5 cards in it. And then randomly inserted in those packs would be a piece of the ring card.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Well, those ring cards are hard to come by as it is. So I have sets, the base sets, I have a bunch of those and extras. But what people don't know is that when you would call in to order, because you have to call to order your pay-per-view, you had to call it in, it's like that. Cable operators like DirecTV and stuff like that, however you want to call it, you know, they would have like this promo card with a sticky strip on the side of it attached to their monitor on the side, and it was a promo of Triple H, you know, like that from the trip, you know, and the back of it, it had all the promotional information about this program, this mail-in offer, and that was a card. And I got one of those somehow. I found it on eBay, and I bought it.
Cool.
And I think most of that stuff got thrown away because once that promotion was over, throw them out. They threw them out. It's like that.
Yeah.
They got beat up over time because they had to keep them for 8 months.
Yeah, and if they have them taped to their desk and they're just using them as reference material, why would they, you know?
And I had one that still hadn't been pilled off it yet, wow. So it's still, and so I have it. So that was my promo for that set.
That's awesome. Well, I think we're never going to be able to cover everything about promo cards, but I think we've given people a really good crash course today, because I think it's just something that is kind of flying under the radar as far as like, these things they may not be the most important things and they may not be the most valuable, but those people out there that like to seek the super rare stuff, yeah. I think a lot of the stuff we've talked about today is right there with it.
Do you think that any of that, I think we briefly touched it, any of that will have any future value as far as like the tech chromes go for good money because they're so hard to come by. Those KKLZs are even harder to find.
I think completists are going to constantly, like, if they don't have it, and they've got to have it, you know, to put in the collection. So there's always that aspect. And then I think people who are seeking the big names, you know, Hogan, Rock, Steve Austin, under, you know, top of the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. I think promotional material of those guys is always going to do well. It's just, again, getting the word out there, because you know, we've seen the market scene cards start picking up in Steam. Me and you and a lot of other people in the community know these things have been around forever, but it's all of a sudden the word got out about it, and all of a sudden the popularity is. So I think that could happen with promo cards too.
Here's what I'm going to do. We're not going to make an announcement on this right now. I have no idea when we're actually going to air this, but I'm going to pull out those 2 bricks of promos that I have just like that. And I think we're going to use it for our special thing we got coming up.
Yes, awesome. That's a great idea.
I think I'll use some of those to give some of those away.
Perfect. Well, you guys want to get one of those, you're going to have to stay tuned. We've got big announcements coming up. It may have already come out by the time this show has aired. If so, congratulations, you're part of the show, hopefully. And if not, well, you'll find out. Yep. Tony, let everybody know where they can find you and where they can find information about promo cards.
wresltingtradingcards.com. Next year's going to be our 20th anniversary next year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
20 years of wrestling cards.
20 years of just doing wrestling cards. Yeah. It's crazy, man. But there's a great market of people out there who've supplied the information over the years, the Chucksters and the Pauls and the Armands and the Rob Englands and the David Pecks and Steve Timke's. I mean, I feel like I'm giving an acceptance speech. All these guys that just who have been such great collectors over the years, who provide such amazing information. And I just want to archive all that in one place like that. And that's where everything you can find about WTC can be found on wreslingtradingcards.com.
Also, make sure you check out the podcast, the WTC podcast, as well as the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and share all of that.
I got to promote that more.
Got to promote everything. It's like I feel like I turn into a robot sometimes, but here we are. And you can find my stuff if you want to find me, Zhan Morning, on pretty much all social platforms. And if you want to find my content, Wrestling with Cards on YouTube, Wrestling with Cards podcast, and subscribe, share those as well as this one. If you enjoyed today's video, whichever platform you're listening on, please share it with a friend. We are constantly trying to get more people in specifically the wrestling card space into wrestling cards, because we all know wrestling fans spend money. Let's see them spend some money on some cardboard.
Yeah. Do it
now. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Like I said, subscribe, share with everybody, and until next time, see ya.